Hello everyone, it's Larry. This is a video of how I made these LEGO models of Donald and Douglas, from Thomas & Friends. 2.5 years ago I created the very first version of their design. Yeah, it's not very good, is it? Now, Donald and Douglas's boilers being slightly bigger than their faces was something I thought really made them stand out from Edward and James. So I knew I had to build the boilers differently to theirs. But this just ain't it. The face being up there looks more like Neville than Donald or Douglas, and the overall shape looks a lot like my old Toblerone train. I like how I rendered it from a bunch of different angles, as if I thought, maybe that's the problem with how it looks. I then drafted it with the tender, which definitely made it look better, along with a much more accurate face position this time. I did get a bunch of things right. The wheel position, arches, and overall scale were looking fairly accurate. But as proud of the weird building technique for the boiler I was, it was looking a lot more Dorito Express than I wanted. Not to mention I hated this weird gap under the face. I once again took renders from different angles in hopes it would suddenly look good. With the tender, I did overhaul it to look more accurate and not have this bar weirdly stop partway down. And I added a slope at the back. And I thought it looked a lot better. Back to the engine though, I realised the parts on top did not look very good. The dome looks more like a Mario pipe. And the funnel is way too close to the front and looks more like a jar than a funnel. This was because I used brackets to be able to build on top of the weird boiler design rather than putting them into holes in the boiler like with my other builds. I couldn't use these jumper pieces to place it in a better position without them sticking out. Later, I made a better funnel design using these pieces put together. And as you can see, I was already reconsidering the boiler design altogether. Though it looks very octagonal, I thought that would look better than this. The revised boiler used another weird technique where I placed these pieces in a ring. It didn't quite line up perfectly, but I thought it wouldn't be too noticeable. Rebuilding it this way also let me use these plates on top, so the improved funnel and dome could be in more accurate places than before. And for the first time I could build the dome with something dome-shaped, the antenna piece but without the antenna itself. This works well for domes but doesn't exist in any colours of my trains, except for black. Also, this year LEGO started producing a perfectly round small dome, which has even fewer colours, but again, black is one of them. So I went with this piece for the final design. It's a little annoying that I usually have no good options for a small dome piece with my trains, but with just Donald and Douglas, I have two. Oh well. Later, I changed the tender. I removed the extruded part as it's only supposed to be as wide as the running board. I changed the stepladder representation from a round piece to a clip piece, and I also actually put coal in the back. I was concerned about black wedges being surrounded by black wedges and that looking weird, but actually it looks okay. This lack of colour variety is also why I used red bricks for the nameplates rather than stickers, and grey Among Us chain pieces instead of black. Now if you're particularly into Thomas, you might be thinking,
well, if you wanted color variety, why didn't you just build their Railway series designs?
To which I say, no. I was informed the nameplates were in differing positions on Donald and Douglas depending on the era of the show.
Huh?
I chose the middle, but they could easily be moved to the smoke box if that's what you prefer. Also, I know these parts are inaccurate, but the smoke box would look like a completely different shape otherwise. And I think this makes their overall shape look more right. What wasn't right though was the wheelbase. This was not going to be able to make any turns. I tested a wheelbase with the rear wheels on a turntable, and it was not having it. I changed it to a bar and clip though, and it fared a lot better. Well, all in all, my design was looking pretty okay, and I'm sure it would have been fine if I did build them like this. But the boiler was still kind of bothering me. I wondered if there was a way to get a more gradual, slightly more rounded shape than an octagon, before I thought, hang on, how did I do Percy's boiler? Oh right, why don't I just do that? So I did. This might be contentious, but I thought it was an improvement and looked much more like their boilers. I felt like I finally achieved that look I was trying for from the start. I also changed the whistle with a black part under it to represent this bit. And I was also unsure about the cab height, but I went with this one, and adjusted its build. The buffer beam was also annoying me, along with this part. I had them built this way because there seemed to be no other way for everything to hold into place structurally. However, I kept staring at it, and eventually a solution materialised. Oh! So after that was figured out, the design was complete. But wait, why are these wheels grey, you might be thinking? Well, these roller coaster wheels only exist in grey, but with Edward, a lot of people suggested I just paint them black. And it has been bothering me as well, so I have since done that and chose to do it again. But I don't want to just paint any wrong colour bricks. I made an exception here because you can build the model with these wheels, which do exist in black. However, I found the roller coaster wheels handle curves and track better, so I decided just painting them black was the best compromise for me, but you're free to use the other wheels instead. So with the design complete, I ordered the rest of the pieces. Here they are without any stickers. Then it was time for the stickers. For their faces, I illustrated several expressions and printed them on sticky back paper. I printed multiple sheets at once, because the machine I was using to cut them wouldn't always get it right first try. It looks like it's done it perfectly here, but upon closer inspection, it really hasn't. So again we go, and oh, that's even worse. Okay, but with enough trial and error, I finally got the perfect cut. After taking the sheet off, I had no problems peeling off the faces and applying them to the bricks. It was very satisfying putting on their faces and feeling like they then had so much more personality. But we were far from done yet. I had also designed and printed their nameplates on sticky back paper, but alas I got the measurements wrong and they were a bit too small. I took this as a sign to potentially instead machine cut them out of adhesive gold vinyl. Whilst this would have undoubtedly looked cool, I was really struggling with cutting them. After enough tears, I figured this was a sign that maybe I was trying to cut details that were just too small. So I thought about what I could do, and I realised that if I put my two small stickers on black tiles, then it wouldn't look weird. So that's what I did. Next, their liveries, which I did also print, but again, at the wrong scale. Though I thought these could be machine cut out of vinyl. It would be a challenge, having to do two sets of pinstriping in different colours, but I thought they would look so good done properly like that, and there wouldn't be an obvious paper texture in the middle. So I designed the white pinstriping for machine cutting, and no! Eventually I got a decent cut, but once again I was really struggling with peeling them off. This was really frustrating, but we don't get anywhere by giving up. I tried again, and this time it didn't look too bad. I attempted the bigger ones on the tender, and sure it took some doing, but wow, I thought the result actually looked pretty good. So I went ahead and designed and cut the red ones too, and while perhaps I didn't quite get the measurements right at first, I proved it could be done. After a recut, they looked better. Now for the tender. If this looks really finicky and fiddly, well that's because it is, but when you finally get it right and step back looking at what you've made, it all becomes worth it. Finally, the numbers would be no problem for my sticker cutter. I designed outlines for the red and yellow layers, and had each number cut. I assembled each of the numbers. After all I'd been through, sticking down the numbers was no problem at all. And with that, Donald and Douglas were complete. Here they are with the other Sodor engines. Here they are on the tracks. And here they are in motion. And now for something a little special. Enjoy. The Fat Controller needed an engine to help Duck at the smelter's yards.
May I go, sir?
Said Donald eagerly.
I only need one engine.
Said the Fat Controller.
Not two. I am only one engine, sir.
Said Donald.
And I would like to help with Duck.
The Fat Controller was surprised, but agreed. Thomas was worried.
Won't you miss one another?
I'll work better on my own.
Sniffed Douglas.
I have work to do.
Huffed Donald. At first, Donald enjoyed working with Duck. Then things started to go wrong.
Did you shunt those trucks on the other line?
Donald asked.
You said you wanted them on the other line.
Duck replied.
Not that other line. The other line.
Donald was cross.
Douglas would have known what I meant.
He huffed. Douglas was working on his own. He chuffed dutifully through the beautiful countryside, but Douglas had no one to share it with. Although he tried not to, he was beginning to miss his twin. The next day, Donald was in a bad mood. Duck could see he was getting too close for the buffers.
Look out!
He shouted, but it was too late. Duck knew he couldn't pull Donald back onto the rails, so he went for help. Douglas was finishing his work as Duck steamed into the depot.
Donald is in trouble!
Said Duck.
Donald in trouble!
Douglas cried.
I'm on my way.
And he steamed off as fast as he could. Douglas struggled and struggled. And he finally pulled his twin gently back onto the tracks. He was relieved Donald wasn't hurt.
Thank you,
Donald said, and they were glad to be back together. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and maybe check out my other stuff. The instructions are on my Rebrickable and Patreon. Consider joining to download instructions I've made, see exclusive updates, and vote for what's next. Thanks to the voice talent for recording lines for the remake, thanks so much to all my patrons for keeping the channel chugging along, and thank you for watching. Ta-ta for now.